Hello and welcome to Warrior Maven, the Center for Military Modernization. The words I would use to describe this today is excellent and extremely significant. We are joined by the Army Acquisition Executive, very important role, oversees hundreds of weapons and technology programs, Mr. Douglas Bush. He is the Assistant Secretary of the Army for Acquisition, Logistics, and Technology. Sir, it's such a pleasure to have you. Thank you.
Happy to be here.
If there's time, sir, I'd love to bounce a couple of the big ticket items, major priority programs off you. One of them, of course, long-range hypersonic weapons. I heard General Thurgood not long ago say this was on track for 2023 as soon as next year. What, as the acquisition leader, are you seeing with how that program is moving along?
So I'd answer that in a couple of ways. First of all, I will say that the Army, long before I got here, the program was started back last administration, has definitely used all of the possible flexibilities and authorities, some of them new, some of them old, to do it on an amazingly fast pace. And I credit General Thurgood and Bricktoe for their great work. We're at the point now where this is kind of the year of testing. So there's a series of test events coming up that are going to tell us exactly where we are in terms of hitting, hopefully do hit that 23 goal to make sure we get the first actual weapon capability fielded in a real Army unit. So a lot of excitement over the next year in terms of how our test activities run, and then we're going to know where we are. But right now, I'm cautiously optimistic. It is a lot of new technologies, so sometimes you do run into bumps on the road, but I think the team can handle the bumps. And we have strong support from both inside the Army and I think across the department for this kind of capability, because I think there's a clear recognition that it's needed, and I'm hoping the Army gets there as planned next year.
I'm glad you mentioned that, sir, because one of the things that I understood following this was that there's work going on with the tech insertion to down the road, thinking hypersonics 5-10 years from now, finding a way to architect a missile that can change course in flight or hit a moving target. And along those lines, one of the key things that struck me was this discussion of how fast hypersonics is developing. And up at the ARL, they're looking at composite materials specifically with a mind to what hypersonics might look like 10, 20 years in the future in terms of the contour of a projectile or managing heat when something travels through the atmosphere. Obviously, you're tracking all of that as you think not just near term, but hypersonics in 20 years.
We are, and I think the program's got plan. We have plans to roll in additional technologies once we get the first baseline capability fielded. And I think the Army's committed to doing that because the technology, as you said, is moving very quickly, and you'd expect the counter technologies will also move quickly. So you have to be on a constant kind of innovations pace there to keep up with the threat. I think hypersonics overall fits into kind of what I referred to earlier, which is precision at range and mass precision at range. And I think that's the trend of the technologies going there. So I'm happy to see the Army already has a program to try to continue to do that over time. Working very closely, by the way, it's really a joint program. We're really working very closely with our Navy partners on that. So that's another example of, it's not called a joint program, but it really is with the Navy, that I think it's a really good success story so far.
Well, it's not overstating it to say it's an honor for us to have a chance to talk to someone, given your level of responsibility with the future of war and the future of weapon systems. Truly, truly appreciate it. And thank you so much for your time, sir. These is critical times and critical stuff. Thank you, sir.
Happy to do it. Great to see you, Kris. Look forward to seeing you in person.
You too, sir. Thanks again.